Hey, what's up, everybody? So tonight we got a movie review coming at you, and we are going to be talking about a movie that I really have been anticipating for a while, and really a lot because of just being a fan of the first two movies and what I feel like going through the motions of getting to the point of the movie actually being released, and that is Bad Boys for Life. And what I mean by that too is like, you know, the Bad Boys 2 was in 2003, and it's what 17 years now to the point of the release for Bad Boys 3, which I know is Bad Boys for Life. I'm probably gonna get that confused. They probably could have conveniently used Bad Boys for Life for the fourth movie, but maybe the fourth one will be called Bad Boys Forever. I don't know, but considering that it's been 17 years since Bad Boys 2, a lot has went on. Will Smith had continued to make movies. Martin Lawrence went, he took a hiatus from things. He did a little bit of comedy, and the fans wanted this, and they were fully aware. And there was moments where one would want to do it, one wouldn't want to do it, and they finally got on the same page. They came on social media, said they were doing it. They started production, and wow, we're finally here. We're finally here. But moving on, since Michael Bay was the director, now we have two new directors for this movie. This movie takes us back to the streets of Miami and now Mexico City, where Bad Boys Mike Lowrey, who was played by Will Smith, and Marcus Burnett, played by Martin Lawrence, are back together for one last ride. But, well, things are a little bit different now because Mike is being targeted by a bad guy assassin who is tasked by his mom to really make him pay for the destruction that Mike has called for their family. And while all this is happening, Mike is single, still kind of living a bachelor life, have the exotic sports cars, and still really much committed to being a detective for Miami, where Marcus is transitioning to a family man. He's a papa now. He has a grandkid, and he's on the edge of retirement. He's ready to hang it up, and he's just more to future endeavors. And it's also, I gotta say, there's some very cool cameos that happen in this movie, because actually the actress who played this daughter and the guy that she was dating from the previous movie, they are back, and there's other cool cameos in this movie too. Nonetheless, it's just cool to see original cast members and really cool cameos be reprised in this movie. But I gotta start off by saying, like, the opening scene was super exciting. It quickly grabbed the essence of what Miami really encompasses, with going down Collins, the bright lights, sports cars, South Beach, all that other good stuff. It quickly captures the essence of that, and it was just an overall, really exciting scene. Period. But and then speaking of scenes too, I think the first choreographed action fight scene was really done as well too, and I have to say, a lot of props to somebody I wasn't totally familiar with and Jacob Sapio, who I think he did a really good job in being that assassin in this movie, the bad guy. But with a ton of crime, action, and violence in this movie still is very fun and funny, and it really reminds you of that, because even when some of the highest stakes, some of the biggest dramatics in this movie, whatever it may be, the humor and the comedy really follows it, just to remind you to, like, have fun. Don't get too serious with this movie. Like, don't get too practical. Just have fun with what the movie. And what do you expect with having Martin Lawrence and Will Smith in this movie? Two of the best comedians to ever do it, and or just playing funny guys. Period. What would you expect? And I actually absolutely in my heart feel that all of the comedy in this movie completely landed. I thought they were absolutely good. Even from the small talk to just the big dialogue scenes between the two of them. I mean, just absolutely great. But as far as with the action scenes and shots, there were some really great ones. But which was great about it is that these scenes really reel back to the traditional style of Michael Bay, but still paid a lot of homage to the Bad Boys franchise and Michael Bay style, with a lot of the slow motion panning shots and just, you know, the low light, the low angle shots and everything, which was, you know, I really appreciate that. To be honest, some of these action shots, I really feel like Fast and the Furious with envy, because they were just really, really solidly done. And much like Fast and the Furious, where Fast and the Furious, each and every movie has the stakes get higher and higher and higher. You continue to remember that these movies are absolutely outrageous logically, but they're fun. I feel like this movie did a good job in making sure it kind of followed the same suit as well. On that notion, I wouldn't mind having like a universe of Bad Boys and Fast and the Furious in the same thing, like a crossover. I think that would absolutely be, I can enjoy something like that. But this movie, I thought had really good pacing the entire time. Really was not aware of like how much time had passed. However, I tend to kind of always keep an eye out on the hour mark of 45 minutes to hour mark of a movie, just to see how the dynamics of the movie change. And I will say, in the beginning of the movie, I was like, okay, this movie's cool. Like, it's happening. You know, it is what it is. But towards that hour mark, it upped the ante, and this movie became must watch for me. Easily would have been a summer blockbuster if the release was in the summer. But this movie absolutely upped the ante on every element of the movie at about the hour mark, and it was, I absolutely loved it. The score was fire. The soundtrack was fire, done by DJ Khaled, who also had a cameo in this movie. And nonetheless, it was just really great to see Martin and Will back on the screen together. I mean, just Martin, period, seeing them on screen. Like, God, did I realize how much I missed them. But the two of them together, the chemistry is just next to none. And I thoroughly loved it. And I even had reserves that, you know, maybe they'll fall off. You know, maybe their jokes won't really land to this generation. I mean, again, it's since 2003 since we had since we had Bad Boys 2. And maybe, you know, generations pass and the same jokes aren't just as funny. But, I mean, it doesn't matter. We're talking about two of the best in the game to do it. And they were absolutely hitting on all cylinders. I really love that this movie got done, because, you know, when you think about the time that's passed and everything, all the politics that went into happening this movie to get done, and then you get reserved about like, well, do you want to touch this franchise again? I'm absolutely glad that they got it done, and it was great, and they absolutely pulled this off by all means. Like, the jokes and everything just landed, perfect chemistry. The new core cast members of younger people who potentially can take this franchise into the future, I think they did a good job. A lot of the people who reprised their roles was hitting on all cylinders. It just all came together like perfectly for me. I just truly appreciated it. There is absolutely potential for this movie, or for this franchise, to go into the future. I kind of cheated, looked on IMDb. It looks like the fourth movie is in pre-production. There is a pre-credit scene, there's a mid-credit scene, and even if it isn't another movie, I can see this movie transforming into a series with this young new nucleus of people that they got involved with the movie. As much as the action that went on in the movie, the stunts, I will say, were really practically done well, but you don't look for like realism in it, because the movie quickly, by all means, just reminds you that the tone is just very light and it's fun, and keep it at that. You know, again, by some of the violence in this movie, some of the kills are just like, oh my God, you know. But at the same time, it follows with a joke that just makes you say like, cool, I understand you're a little intense, you're a little tight right now, but like, hey, this is fun. Like, you know, continue to enjoy this movie. I thought the storyline was really good. I thought the twist with the storyline was really good as well. I thought all the jokes were good. I don't feel like zero was corny. I feel like every bit of joke was just good. It wasn't no overdoing, overbearing. You know how like sometimes Kevin Hart could just go too much Kevin Hart? I feel like Will and Martin, just their chemistry is just so organic that at times you saw Mike Lowrey and Marcus But then towards the end of the movie, you seen Will Smith and Martin Lawrence just being them. It's got to be a director's dream to have these two talented people to just sit there and be able to just fully be themselves, and it just absolutely worked. To be very, very honest, this movie was the Gemini Man movie that we needed, because like, as much as it was a lot of Fast and the Furious, it was just a lot of just like, well, this could have just been Gemini Man, and we would have just been cool with that. As far as like somebody who really stole the show outside of Martin and Will, I think Joe Pantoliano, reprising his role as Captain Howard, I thought he did a really good job. Very, very funny, and like, for me, really kept up with the big dogs in this movie. And you know, I'm glad that Hollywood got this done. I would like to see where it goes for in the future. It looks like they are going to be, I think this is going to do really good in the box office, which, you know, when the money comes in, then when it brings trust back up, then anybody who may be saying they don't want to sign on for another one potentially will. I can definitely see how things could go in the future. Nonetheless, you know, I think the movie was paced good. The length of the movie was good. And, you know, I felt like everything that was encompassed in this movie all made sense. There was just a little bit of templates all over the movie that ultimately, when it came down to the conclusion of the movie, it just all came together very, very, very good. But you guys let me know what you think about the movie when you see it. Leave me some notes in the comment field, and hopefully you guys go out and watch it, because I absolutely think this is absolutely a good, fun movie that everyone would enjoy, and they kept the integrity of the first two movies and added brilliance on top of it, and this was just an absolute fun ride. But again, thank you for listening to my review, and I will catch you guys for the next one.